in my model, I've created sort of the ultimate subscription model in the sense that it's a one-time sale. We get passive income every single month, but we don't actually have to deal with anything physical, nothing to maintain, nothing to protect. Nobody can come out and destroy my land. What are they going to do? Take some dirt? And then I get income every single month without any of those traditional headaches. And because I'm so geeky, we've got it 90% automated with software.
Welcome to Men of Abundance, the podcast for those looking to level up their lives by hanging out with some of the greatest leaders and established professionals in our community, living a life of integrity, honor, and the abundance mentality. Prepare to pay it forward with your host, former Army medic turned lifestyle entrepreneur, Wally Carmichael.
What is going on, Men of Abundance? I am Wally Carmichael, your founder and host of the Men of Abundance podcast, the Pay It Forward community, proving to you that you can, in fact, live a life of abundance and prosperity in family, faith, finances, and fitness. And you know, there's always this discussion around passive income. Is it possible? I'm here to tell you it is. I have passive income. I worked 25 years in the Army, and I retired, and I got my disability check. I don't know how it gets any more passive than that, but there are other ways to get passive income. Elvis Presley's family's still getting passive income. You do something once, you get paid for it the rest of your life. And if you do something once really good, like Elvis and Michael Jackson and all these other artists, and many other famous families like the Rockefellers, and many not so famous families can continue getting paid for generations long after they are gone. That, my friend, is what we refer to as building a legacy. You know, I once heard somebody say, I don't really care how much money I have in the bank when I pass. I just want to have income. And other than being a famous rock star or something like that, I don't know of any other way to build an income, an ongoing income, than in the real estate industry. And man, does our featured guest today have that down pat. In fact, this is a repeat guest. I'm excited to bring him out. But before I do, I want to give you the opportunity to be abundant in your life today by paying it forward and sharing Men of Abundance with others, because there are so many other people that are going to want to hear this conversation and all the other conversations, the 279 other conversations that have been shared here on Men of Abundance around the world. And I just know we are greatly enhancing other people's lives by sharing these conversations. So be abundant, pay it forward by sharing Men of Abundance with everyone you come in contact with. Not because I want more downloads and I want more shares and I want to be listened to in more countries, but simply because these conversations are enhancing other people's mindset. And that's what needs to happen in the world. We need to get out of the scarcity mindset, get deep into the abundance mindset. And the best way to do that is to listen to conversations, have conversations with other people that have an abundance mindset, and get away from the scarcity mindset people, or bring them in with us. Let's transform them as well. Now, I'm not going to share a long bio for our featured guest today because he has already been on the show. You can check out that episode, and I highly encourage that you do. Listen to menofabundance.com/135. That one is titled Fighting Your Default to Live a Life of Abundance with Mark Podolsky. In today's conversation, we get down and dirty, and we talk about becoming dirt rich and creating a passive income. Men of Abundance, it's my honor to bring back to you Mark Podolsky. Mark, welcome back to Men of Abundance, brother. How you doing?
Wally Carmichael, pulse is still normal. Respiration's fine. I'm honored and humbled to be back. Thanks so much.
Wonderful, wonderful. Are you, I believe last time we had a conversation, I think you were walking on your treadmill or something like that?
You know what? I started having leg issues from that. So
really?
I have transitioned. Now I'm still standing and I'm on it, but I've transitioned to the Peloton. I love the Peloton.
I've heard about that. How's that working out for you?
Oh man, it's the toughest workout, the toughest cardio workout I've ever done.
I mean, how could you not hear about it? Like, as far, you know, maybe I clicked on it once or twice, so I'm seeing the advertisements even on TV and everywhere all the time, man. So they're definitely doing their marketing.
Oh yeah. It's a ton of fun, and they gamify it, so it's great. They do a really nice job.
Excellent. So since the last time you and I talked, I was actually had just stepped out of the courtroom because I was on jury duty or potentially on jury duty, and I got excused because I have too many friends that are cops. And that's when the defending attorney said, no, we don't want him. So that worked out for me. And then I jumped out to the parking lot where I was parked at, sitting in the front seat of my 2011 Toyota Tacoma, and had a conversation with you there. But now I'm in my home office. That was in Hawaii, actually. Now I'm in my home office in Florida, and standing up at my personal stand-up desk, taking after you a little bit.
Awesome. So well, I'm glad that I had some influence there. Yeah. So I still stand. I just don't walk and talk as much as I used to.
Excellent. Well, yeah, and that's interesting how that happens. My legs aren't the best, but as far as my knees and everything, jumped out of too many airplanes. So actually, it wasn't the jump that was the problem; it was the landing that caused so many issues from my feet up to my back. But that's for another conversation. But so much has changed since the last time you and I talked. I mean, I moved from Hawaii to Florida. You got a new book out called Dirt Rich: How One Ambitiously Lazy Geek Created Passive Income in Real Estate Without Renters, Renovations, and Rehabs. That is a mouthful, brother, but there is a lot going on there. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I wanted to be the guy that, wrote the book on land investing that actually created passive income. Because, if you tell somebody that you invest in raw land, they kind of just, their eyes glaze over. They're like, oh, or, they think you're a land banker or a speculator. So, for example, we went to a real estate meeting. They call it a RIA meeting, real estate investment association meeting. And there's 100 people in that room. 99 of them are going to be house flippers, landlords, or wholesalers. So you and I would be the only land guys there. So it's just this, very sort of unknown real estate niche. And I thought, this is really a great way for people whom don't like me. Like, I'm just kind of a geeky guy. So while are you pretty handy around the house?
Oh yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I can hold my own.
You can? Okay. So I would want to be neighbors with you. Cause I go into Home Depot and I'm overwhelmed. I've got the handyman on speed dial. I'm I have no business even owning a home. So for me, the idea of flipping a house or, rehabbing just was kind of just joyless, in the sense that even if, I hired someone to do the work, I wouldn't even know if they were doing a good job, a bad job. It just did not appeal to me. But in my model, I've created sort of the ultimate subscription model, in the sense that it's a one-time sale. We get passive income every single month, but we don't actually have to deal with anything physical, nothing to maintain, nothing to protect. Nobody can come out and destroy my land. What are they going to do? Take some dirt? Mm-hmm. And then I get income every single month without any of those traditional headaches. And because I'm so geeky, we've got it 90% automated with software. So it's that's really why I wrote the book, was just to help people, kind of just realize that this is a niche that's available to them. It's not going to get saturated. There's billions of acres of land. There's 3,007 U.S. counties. You, me, 1 million people could get in this niche. We're all going to run out of money before we run out of deal flow. And, and it's not sexy. You're not going to go on HGTV or the DIY network and see me on Flip This Land. It's just me in front of my computer.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember from our last conversation, I know I must have brought this up because one of the books I read years ago, because I was really just obsessed with real estate back in the day, and I was primarily doing lease options, which I absolutely love. It's just a very unique thing because, like you said, every time I've bought a house, I'm going to jump around a little bit here, but every time I've personally bought a house, I bought a brand new house. I'm talking, we designed it in the design studio and had somebody build it, and then it had a warranty for a year. In fact, we are at our 1-year warranty time right now in the house that we're in right now. And I did that for a reason, because I don't want to go and move into a fixer-upper. I want something that I can call somebody and say, hey, this is broke, come fix it, as long as it's still on warranty type of thing, right?
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
so it just makes it easier for me. But then I was reading this book years ago called Deals on Wheels, where Lonnie Scruggs was basically buying plots of land and putting, plumbing in there and electricity, and saying, here, that's where you can park your trailer, your mobile home, and making money with dirt. That's what he said. He said, I just lease the dirt. That's all I do. But out here in Florida, what I'm seeing right now, and I just had some conversations with some guys here in the community, they're widening roads. They're putting in a bunch of new communities. All of these developers are putting in all these new communities and homes. And literally homes that were land with a trailer on it are even 2-3 years ago were going for $120,000 for the land, because you're going to just demolish whatever was on it. Now that same piece of land, one of them just sold for over $400,000. And
Wow.
The guy was going to buy it 3 years ago, and his spouse said, not going to happen. Him and another guy were going to go in on it. And they both said, not going to happen. Now they're kicking themselves, right?
Right.
So is
right.
that the kind of stuff that you're talking about as far as buying land? Are you like buying it and holding it for resale, or you already have buyers for some of the land that you're acquiring?
Yeah, so I'll kind of walk you through the model.
Yeah, please do.
So you're in Florida, right?
Right.
And let's say I go to this county in Texas, and I see, oh, there's Wally Carmichael. He owns this 20-acre parcel in this county in Texas, and he owes $200 in back taxes. Well, you're advertising two things to me. Number one, you have no emotional attachment to that raw land. You're in Florida, the property's in Texas. And number two, you're distressed in some way financially with that property. So when we don't pay for something, we don't value it in the same way. And you haven't paid your property taxes. So you've been getting notices every single month from the county treasurer saying, hey, look, if you don't pay your property taxes, you're eventually going to lose that property to a tax deed investor or a tax lien investor. So what I'll do is I'll look at the comparable sales on that 20-acre parcel for let's say the last 12 to 18 months. And so I'll take the lowest comp, and then all I'm going to do is divide by 4. And that's going to get me what Warren Buffett would call a 300% margin of safety. And I'm actually going to send you an actual offer on that property. So let's say, for example, that the value is $10,000. The most I'm going to pay now is $2,500. So you get this offer from me for $2,500, and you take it because $2,500 is better than nothing, and eventually you're going to lose that property. So in reality, 3 to 5% of people accept my quote-unquote top dollar offer. So now that you accepted the offer, I've got to go through due diligence or this in-depth research. I just got to confirm that you actually own the property, confirm that, back taxes are only $200. There's no breaks in the chain of title. There's no liens or encumbrances. And I get all this done for about $11 in the Philippines with our Land Geek virtual assistants. And they are tapped into an American title company. So in the same time that they're doing our due diligence, they're also creating the plat maps, the GIS maps, the aerial maps, the photos of the area, everything that's around there. And that's creating concurrently the marketing package for my buyer. So now we buy it from you for $2,500. And then, Wally, I have a built-in best buyer for that property. Do you know who it is?
I have no idea.
The neighbors. The neighbors. So I send out neighbor letters saying, hey, here's your opportunity. Expand your holdings, protect your views, improve your privacy, know who your neighbor is going to be. And oftentimes the neighbors will then buy it. And so if they don't buy it, I'll go to my buyers list, which is just this big email list. If the buyers list passes, then I'll go to a little website you probably never heard of called Craigslist, the 10th most trafficked website in the United States. And then an even smaller one, Facebook buy sell groups. And then there's the lands. There's landmodo.com, landhub.com, landandfarm.com, these big platforms where people buy and sell raw land. So I'm going to sell this property 30 days or less. And the way I'm going to sell it is where the magic happens. So I'm going to get a $2,500 down payment. So I'm going to get my money out on the down, or maybe within 6 months of the down. And then I'm just going to make it a car payment. So let's say $449 a month, 9% interest over the next 84 months. So essentially, I've gotten my money out, and now I've got $449 coming in every single month. I don't have to deal with any renters, rehabs, renovations, rodents. And because I'm not dealing with a tenant, I'm exempt from any onerous real estate legislation like Dodd-Frank, the SAFE Act, or RESPA. And so, Wally, the game we play is, can we create enough of these land notes where our passive income exceeds our fixed expenses, and then we're working because we want to, not because we have to.
Wow. That is impressive. And, listen, guys, if you're anything like me and just can't, put all these numbers and everything into your head, I'm the type of guy, I got to see it in writing. I know this because Mark and I have already had this conversation, and it sounds kind of similar to what I was doing years ago with lease options, in that I was just controlling the property from the owner and then subletting it to a tenant buyer who's eventually going to buy it at some point or not. And then I was a lot of my liability was safe. I didn't have as much liability in it. But Mark, for the guys that are out there that are really looking at this, and even the ones that can comprehend the numbers as you just threw it all out there, how do you make this simpler for them to get into doing what you're doing, especially in reference to your book and the software that you have?
Right. So, essentially we've automated, delegated, or systematized every piece of the process. So, the first piece is automating sending out the offers. So we created a software program, and we use an API with a company called lob.com that sends out our offers. So we just upload our list, and the offers automatically go out. When they come back, then we just put in the information into our software piece, all that relevant information that we were talking about, and where we are as far as the deal flow. And then we outsource that due diligence again, and that's just all done by email. And then we automate the marketing piece of it. So we use a software program called postingdomination.com/the Land Geek. And essentially that automates about 120 ads by pressing a button on Facebook and Craigslist. And so, or we could hire inexpensive VAs to do our ad writing, what have you. But essentially, the whole idea is that we don't want to buy ourselves another job, right? And then on the back end of it, once it sells, we have a program called geekpay.io, and it's a set it and forget it system. So we get our down payment through the software via credit card, and then we automate the recurring payments via ACH. It handles all the amortization and the interest expense. But if let's say the borrower, let's say their ACH fails or their checking account bounces, then it'll automatically charge the credit card on file. So we can get multiple payments. So we lowered our default rate from 8% to 4% with software. So as far as the contracts, that's all automated. What used to take me 20 minutes in paperwork with a purchase sale agreement, a promissory note, and a land contract, it now takes about 2 seconds to do. So, the whole idea is we can always make more money, but we can't get more time. So any investment we can make to save more time, we'll make it.
You're speaking my language, man. And guys, you might be wondering to yourself, well, what does this have to do with abundance, living a life of abundance, or being a man of abundance? I'm here to tell you, man, anytime that I can buy back more time so that I can spend that doing the things I want to do, spending time with family. For instance, tomorrow at the time of this conversation, we haven't decided if we're going to the Animal Kingdom at Disney World or driving down to John's Pass here in Florida. But the bottom line is, middle of the week, we're going to go hang out somewhere, because I can do that. I'm all about automation. I'm all about not just the automation, but paying it forward and making that available to other people who desire to do the same thing. Because like you, Mark, My goodness, man. I watch these HGTV shows and all these, Fixer Upper and Flippers and all this kind of stuff. There's just so many out there. We just discovered another one where they buy these houses on auction. They lift the house up in Texas. They literally pick the house up and they relocate it to a new location. Then they auction the house off after they renovate it. And all the problems and issues and deadlines and just headaches that come with even flipping, not even talking about holding and renting type of thing. That's just a whole other level of headache I just don't want to deal with. And I'm sure some of you guys out there don't either. And even if you are, this is another tier that you can put on top of what you're already doing to buy back more time and get more people in, basically to use the land for whatever they want to use it for, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's you're creating value all the way along the chain, but I think, ultimately, having that abundance mentality is so important in life, because life is so short. And, so many people that I talk to, they are what I call solo economic dependent, which means if they're not working, they're not making any money. And even high income earning solo economic dependent people. I mean, I'll talk to surgeons who are making, $1 million a year, but they're miserable because they are tied to their practice. And if their hands aren't in somebody's body, they're not earning any income. Attorneys, the same thing. Dentists, and you can love your job, but ultimately you still want to have that choice in life where if you do get tired, you want to cut back. This is a great way to do that. And it's also a great gateway drug to go into what you were talking about earlier, to do larger deals as well, in go into those things, because this takes such little capital to get started in.
Really? So what would you say it would take somebody from scratch, having never done anything with real estate? And I know there's a lot of guys in between, but just getting started and starting up with your program, what would it take time-wise, and what would it take financially? Yeah,
so I would say our average client does a deal in about 90 days. And we really set a goal for them to get to about $10,000 a month in passive income in 12 to 18 months. So by the 36th month mark, they should be really free completely, depending on their income needs. But we see that on average. Like I've got a client, Roberto Chavez. It took him 12 months to replace his income. Actually, he's making more money on a passive level in land investing than he does as a full-time attorney. So it depends on the person. But we have sort of example after example of people that have replaced their income and quit their jobs, or they, like I have a couple, they've got the $8,000 a month in passive, and they just quit their jobs, and now they're traveling the world doing this business. They don't have kids, and they're just, you can do this from anywhere in the world. You just need a laptop and an inexpensive, internet connection.
Yeah, absolutely. And you clarified quite a bit there, because most people really just need $5,000 to $8,000 a month. When expenses are all taken, as far as debt and all that kind of stuff's taken care of, they don't need too much more than that. So I get it. Some folks out there, they really just want to supplement their current income. They dig their jobs, they enjoy what they're doing, but they know that they need a little bit more. And guys, I'm always telling you, you absolutely must find some sort of a side gig to replace whatever might be lost down the road. If you get injured, your job goes away, your position goes away, the company goes under, you have no control over that kind of stuff. But you do have control over what you're going to do when that happens. So you're either going to go down to the unemployment line downtown and deal with that whole hassle, or you're going to have some sort of a side gig set up already that you can fall back on. And quite frankly, that's what the government wants you to do. That's why there's so many tax laws tax exemptions in place for people who own their own business from home. Home-based business owners have the most tax deductions for that reason, that I've been told anyhow.
Yeah, absolutely. And, big AI is coming, and, we're going to see huge swaths of the economy in the middle class just go away, just from robots. And so even entrepreneurs, it's the best time ever to be an entrepreneur, but even that, if you don't have it set up like you and I do, and it's basically, like a job for you. This is another, income stream that you could, start working just a focused 2 hours a day and then, be out of it.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely, man. So how can guys get a hold of what you're doing, get a hold of your book, and find out more about what they want to do to work with you? Because I've found that even though these guys are, everybody's listening right now, trust me and listen to my show, or some of them do, I don't know. But the fact of the matter is they need to get to know you before they move forward. They can't just take my word for it. And guys, I don't expect you to do so. So how can they find out more about you, Mark, and more about your program?
Yeah, the best way to get started is just go to the landgeek.com. And while if they really want to go deep into it, we have a $97 course called the Passive Income Launch Kit. And I'd like to offer that for free to your listeners if they just go to the landgeek.com/launch kit. And they can just get into that course for free and really see if this is something that would be interesting to them or not. And then, of course, Dirt Rich is available on Amazon.
Excellent. Yeah, I'll have all that linked up in the show notes, guys. So make sure you go there and check that out if you haven't written that down, or you can't right now. Just go to Men of Abundance, search Mark Podolsky. You'll see it. You'll see it pop up twice since you're the second time guest on the show, and take advantage of that, because at the very least, it's going to give you some ideas and see if one, this is the industry that you want to get into, if this is something that you want to do, and two, if Mark's the one you want to, go along this journey with. And quite frankly, what are your options? What are your other options? I don't know of anybody else out there that is teaching this at the level that Mark's teaching it, with all the automation in place, which just puts the cherry on top of the cake, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Awesome, man. So one thing we didn't do at the beginning of this conversation, because you're the second up, and guys, if you want to learn more about the first conversation I had with Mark and his kick in the gut moment, which was a great story, great experience for us to experience with him, and then what he learned from that, go to menofabundance.com/135. I'll have that linked up in the show notes as well. But otherwise, just go to menofabundance.com on the podcast and search Mark Podolsky, and you'll be able to find this episode and the other episode. And I suggest you listen to both and take advantage of the offer that Mark just gave you, because that is absolutely huge, man. But the other thing I want to do today, right now, as I do on every show, and I normally do it at the beginning, is what do you have to be grateful for today, Mark?
Oh my gosh. Just, I'll tell you, I'm really grateful for, my family, and just waking up and the chaos of 3 teenagers, and, having the privilege to take, one of them to school, see the other 2 off, and just spend that time with them in the morning, even amidst all the chaos. Right. I'm just so grateful for that. I just feel so lucky in so many ways.
So awesome. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, because I'm a big fan of that as well. I get the opportunity to drop my little guy off at school every day too, and I just love it.
Yeah. I mean, the conversations every day are, priceless.
Absolutely. All right, brother. Once again, go out, live your life of abundance, man. Keep doing what you do. I absolutely love it. And I'm going to check out your stuff as well, just because I still have an interest in the real estate industry and everything going on, and I'm very interested in what you have going on.
Thanks, Wally. I really appreciate it.
All right, guys, that was a fun conversation. I hope you got as much out of that as I did. I'm telling you, anytime that I can learn a way to earn a great income in the real estate industry without having to deal with tenants, buyers, and all that kind of stuff, sign me up. So get connected with Mark and go pick up a copy of his book, Dirt Rich: How One Ambitiously Lazy Geek Created Passive Income in Real Estate Without Renters, Renovations, and Rehabs. Absolutely love it. Now go out and live your life of abundance. And guys, make sure to pay it forward.
That's all for today, Abundance Leaders. For more about our guests and the powerful information we shared with you today, be sure to sign up for our mailing list at menofabundance.com. We appreciate your time and look forward to hanging out with you on our next episode. So until then, be sure to pay it forward and live your life of abundance.